Securing Charlie.
Tom Clancy's Ghost Recon is what free-to-play shooters should be like. Unlike other popular first-person shooter free-to-plays, this game actually makes you work for a new gun, which is permanent. Unlike other games where you just rent it, whatever the hell that means, renting a gun. It just works. It makes you feel good about buying a gun that you get to keep forever. It's pretty cool. There are some exceptions though, like it gives you the opportunity to get guns that have modifications already built into them with like cool paint jobs and shit, but I mean you might as well just buy the gun yourself and buy the upgrades yourself and keep it forever, you know? Speaking of upgrades, this game actually has quite a bit. I mean, you upgrade a lot. You can upgrade your helmet, you can upgrade your vest, you can, I mean, upgrade your gun, obviously, but it makes you feel good about upgrading. It actually represents a reason. I mean, modifying your own gun is awesome as is. In any game, modifying your own gun is cool. But see, in this game, it really makes you feel good when you modify your gun. It represents how you like to play the game. You can modify your gun for anything. I mean, if you want to be close quarters with a submachine gun, be my guest. Put a short barrel on that thing and just haul ass. If you want to have precision, put a long barrel on that thing. You'll be happy. Silencer equipped, you get even more accuracy. I mean, there's just so much to do with the modifying, and that's what makes it awesome. And when you're done modifying your gun, you can just try it out. I mean, it takes not even a loading screen, and you're in a firing range where you can move around and shoot targets at varying distances. It's pretty freaking cool. Although if you're expecting this game to be super realistic, your expectations are gonna fall flat. This game, it's just not realistic. Headshots don't always mean instant kills. Everything just relies on stats and numbers, which isn't bad, but it's not realistic. But if you're expecting realism, I don't think you'd pick the game where people can have gigantic force fields that cover them while they run into battle. You're gonna pick this game because it's tactical, and it really is tactical. You have to coordinate with your team, and if you don't, you lose. I mean, it is that simple. You probably won't believe me until you play the game yourself, and that's cool, I understand that. But I've played on teams where people would use voice chat and we would win. I mean, we would wipe the floor with the competition, and that was cool. But we would also play on teams where nobody would even talk. They wouldn't talk in the chat, nobody used their mics, and we lost. We lost bad. And that's okay, but you lose. But see, that's what makes this game so special. It actually makes you want to communicate with your team. I mean, you feel good about talking to your team because you know that, hey, maybe if I tell my team, let's take over this point and go around the corner, we have a higher chance of winning. And that's what makes this game so cool. But if your team consists of people who like to run around with shotguns, you're going to be very upset. Because this just isn't the game for that. I mean, yeah, you can get a shotgun, you can run around, get a really high kill streak, get a lot of points, but you're not helping your team. I mean, maybe if you use that shotgun tactically and covered people, or charged in and let everybody else come up behind you, then that's okay. But nobody ever does that with shotguns, they just kind of get points. But some things that I think are actually bad about this are just how everything is so stats based. I mean, this game would be so much better if it were a lot more realistic. I mean, having a stats-based game is pretty cool. I mean, look at Borderlands, they pulled that off pretty well, but it doesn't really work for games where tactics and competition are really key. And what I mean by stats is just everything has stats. Like, everything has stats. I mean, you get into cover and it's a plus 30% accuracy increase and like a plus 60% control increase, but that just doesn't make sense. I mean, sure, you get into cover, you can use your cover as helpful aids to shoot, and I get that, but it shouldn't all have one specific written down stat. I mean, it just shouldn't. In order to get an automatic kill with a headshot, your gun needs to have a higher damage rate than the health of a head. It's kind of weird. And see, that's why I say it's so bad, because when you're trying to cover your friend and you headshot somebody with a sniper, you kind of expect them to be dead. I mean, it's a sniper round through their head, why wouldn't they be? But yet, all that happens is you have to reload your sniper and scream, "Why the hell aren't you dead?" See, when a game relies on tactics so much, it kind of needs to be realistic, so that you know how to be tactical. But you see, I'm not saying you can't get instant kills with headshots, because you can. You just need a gun that can do it. But if they're wearing a helmet, then you have to find an even better gun, because then that helmet adds even more health points to their head. But it's the same for body armor too, which is why you want to upgrade it as much as you can. And that's why this game makes you want to work for upgrades, because you want to kill people in the head. You want to shoot them in the body and have them die. Which can be a good thing, but I don't think it is. I think if they just made the game realistic, you would still want to upgrade your guns, just not so much. And it would all work and it would all make sense. See, with the way that it is now, there's a specific class that gives itself a higher chance of always getting kills. And that's the support class, because its machine guns are really accurate and they do a lot of damage, which in this game pretty much guarantees you a kill to a submachine gun that is kind of accurate and does kind of a lot of damage. Another thing that just doesn't make sense but correlates with the whole stats thing is timers. I mean, in what shooting game are there timers for everything you do? I mean, I understand, yeah, okay, they're kind of useful, but they could just not be there. And we could just not be timed on things. And I mean, there's timers everywhere. When you lay down, there's a timer for how long it takes until you can shoot your gun. When you're sprinting and you want to fire, there's a timer that you have to wait for it to stop. And it just gets aggravating, because you want to shoot right then and there, but you can't because there's some stupid ass timer in the way. And it always times you just long enough to piss you off. But when I say that there's a timer for everything, I mean there's a timer for everything. Just look at all this. There's a timer there, there's a timer here. Timers, timers, timers. Even the goddamn main menu has timers. They could simply just not be there. And we could just not be timed on things. And it would make a lot more sense and be a lot more fun. That's okay. You get over it. And you keep playing anyways, which is okay, but I feel like eventually it's gonna get old. Especially if you have a class that has a gadget that lets them have a force shield around them for quite a long time. You kind of get sick of people taking out your entire team with that stupid gadget because they can. Nothing's there to stop them. And when you match that class with the guns that are ridiculously accurate and ridiculously high damage, it doesn't work. So yeah, I mean, while support class is pretty overpowered, not playing as support makes you feel good when you're doing really, really well. Until somebody runs up to you and just consistently kills you over and over again with a shotgun. And it makes sense, shotguns are king of close quarters, but it doesn't make it fun. Which is why I don't see people playing this game for too long. Sure, it'll have a consistent stream of new people always playing, but I don't think people are going to keep playing this game until they reach really high levels, because you're just going to get fed up with it. But don't get me wrong, it's still a good game. It's fun to play with your friends with. It's fun to shoot people. It's all still there, and it all still has the same core aspects of a shooting game. I just don't see people sticking around for too long. If you're just wanting a game to play over the weekend, I mean, this game is perfect for you. It's small, it's free, and it doesn't take much to run it, which is good for a game just like this, because there's nothing stopping you from just deleting it after 2 days. I'm not saying you will, but there's nothing stopping you from doing it. You're not at a loss of anything when you do it. And as far as free-to-play shooting games go, this game is going to be number 1 or 2 on the charts. It just is. It's got something everybody likes, and that's balance. See, if you want to buy guns with real money, you can, but you have to wait till you're a certain level to do so. And if you don't want to wait till you're that level, you have to buy a AAA pass, which is just even more money, and then you can finally buy that gun early before you're that level. But see, to me, I like that because it stops 12-year-olds from taking their mom's credit card and buying guns that are super high powered so that they can beat everybody who's a level below them. There are going to be those people who do buy the AAA passes and buy their guns early, but there's not going to be that many of them because it's so expensive. And when you do encounter one of them, you can kind of just laugh at them and realize that they spend so much money trying to be good at a game. So my final statement is this: if you're bored on a weekend and you just kind of want a game to play, or a game to play with your friends because they're bored too, this is the perfect game. Sure, you won't be playing it for long, but that's okay because you're gonna play it again eventually. It's got that thing about it that just makes you want to play it. I'm easily gonna rate this game an 8 out of 10. It's good. Even though it has its problems, it's still pretty good and it's fun to play. But you don't have to take my word for it. If you don't believe me about something, then just go download it yourself. Like all the games I'm gonna be playing, they're free and anybody can download them. But if you want to see me and my buddies playing this game live, then just go click on one of the links down below. It'll bring you right to it. It's pretty fun to watch. Thanks for watching though, and if you do decide to play this game and you do have something to argue with me about, just put it in the comments below. I don't mind. I'll probably read it. I might reply. Who cares? Just do it.
I'd recommend going up in there. Oh, go.